Thank you. Because that'll change it up a bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Another opening, another show, sorry. Another opening of another show. Remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Of course.
Who did that?
Comedy Tonight.
Comedy Tonight. Thank you.
Zero Mostel sang at the Oscars.
Did he?
It was from a funny thing happened on the way to the forum.
Yes. It all comes back to me like the hot kiss at the end of a wet fist.
It's from Kiss Me Kate, he says.
Kiss Me Kate.
I believe him.
I would go with him.
I would
Actually, not really, but
Maybe
a man with ankles like that, you don't argue with.
Casual.
All right, so I have the machine running here. Let me go over there and find out who is on call.
I almost tripped right there.
Nothing but on call. On call. Up to the mic. Oncology.
Oh, Bella, we have here Clara Sue coming up.
All right.
Clara Sue.
Oncology.
What do you want someone else to do?
You do that while I'm reading.
You came in and I put you right there. Someone scribbled their name on the
okay.
All right, so she is coming up. Give her a round of applause. We haven't seen her in a while. We've seen her. We haven't heard her in a while. Come on, I can't hear that, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on out there? Wake it up around here. Come on, let's take care of it. She's Louise and a hamburger.
I'm really happy to be back.
I'm happy you're back.
Very happy.
And we're happy or legacy now.
Yeah, and I'm a legacy now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Legacy lady.
So I was quite ashamed for the past few weeks. I wasn't able to write anything. Finally, I was able to write again. And the theme is veteran, right?
Yes, it is.
So this is titled Veteran. Drunken magic, no way free. Rustle a long tail, pink petals on ice. Relentless blows don't make eyes twitch. Rice noodle rain, a silent curse, pinching an abrupt death. Black crows droppings under the weight of the boulder, a crushed pit. Birds are singing again, 3 years after the tree was hacked, limb after limb, naked, scarred. Birds are the first to notice its shades. The tree notices when the birds sit preening. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
All right. Adolf, you're up next. So I'll give him a round as he comes up here, please. And we got Greg and Hal, Garrett, Eddie, Chris, and Alan, and Drift if he's of a mind to get up here and knock us out, as they say. No, you want to raise it up?
Hey, just a little bit.
How about that?
All right.
And then you can just, there you go.
All right, I haven't written anything new, but it's some of my old stuff. Wednesday. Trees big, flowers bloom. I know why flowers bloom. Everyone likes what's hidden inside. Trees big, small, skinny, tall. Nature is me, where who is parent to all. Made from the dust, the womb, the within, and then I'm out to walk or be still. The trees big, the flowers bloom.
Well, dude.
I'm gonna get to the veterans, but it's a little bit later.
All right.
Way over here, I'm Fountain, Lancaster's B. When I can be anywhere, I choose you. Way over in the back of MacD. Way over, take a seat. Way over, I'm waiting for change in me. Way over, the stars shining, the universe moving, and what about me? Way over, the inside beat, inside of me. Yeah, it's moving like everything else we can't see. Way over yonder, I'm found. Not where I started now. I have moved on like everything else in the air, sky, universe. It never dies. B, it just changes into something new, glimmering and shiny too.
Yeah.
The flag, like in Francis Scott Key, the flag. Pronounced in color so clean and vibrant, like in Betsy Ross, the flag, with a heart so blue as the sky, the blue in the flame, her. The flag that moralizes the plenty and not the few, that flag, red, white, and blue, along with the end being two stones, and forever you, yeah, that flag.
Yeah, that flag.
So now here's supposed to be the veteran. This is the Special Forces guy. Bad as can be. Combat worn, cause you combat born, all the way to the bone. Combat acting, hat knuckles, feel, command wear. Love better come by the minute, cause without I can sand, pan, house, explode, oh. Now what? Looking at the rain, something to relieve the shot, the rumbling, the adrenaline over here, lady dress. Not paying you no mind when you play a tune with your lips, making the noise, rocking like James Brown was in you. Cause combat worn, combat torn, all the way to the bone.
Yeah. Thank you, Adolph. Adolph Pickett out there. All right. Will Greg Pond kindly come forward, please? Give Greg a nice round of applause. And then we got Hal and Garrett and Eddie and Chris and Al and Drift. QDB of mine, dude. We respect you, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't know the theme, but since it's veterans, this poem mentions vets. It's not totally about vets, but it mentions vets. It's entitled Two Men Talked. Two drinks poured, two lives scanned. Light conversation ran deep one night in a dark blue bar and grill. Shot glasses refilled, late after hours still in rapt attention. A few lies, a few jokes, spoken words swilled and flowed. Then one mentioned men he'd known, lonely, gray, and overgrown, stuck in sawdust whiskey holes where bloodshot eyes missed over years reminisced from sad tales told. And those left here are left to fear growing old and losing grip and doing it all alone. No one there to see you slip out or in sanity or homelessly adrift, while the world around slowly staggers and tips toward greed and excess and away from old souls and lost vets. Soon the other friend began to slur about 3 strike men and things he'd heard. The guards, the scars, the kiss of cold concrete, in moods blue, dark, and deep. Behind bars and grills, confining and defining them from then to still. The years will blur when there's nowhere to go. Institutionally dehumanized, rarely mentioned anymore. Just some more lost men calling these walls their home, leasing some space for the price of their souls. From bar to bars, from grill to hole, into the night deep, two men talked a blue streak before getting up to go. Last words overheard, this one parting shot. You can't come and go there as you please, but 3 hots and a cot sure beats living on the streets.
That covered bases. That covered bases.
That's I do.
Yeah.
And since it's fall, to fall. When it's falling outside, litter swirls, leaves curl on the ground. Not winter yet, the wind so thin and chilled, hissed through lonely junkyards, lifting trash can covers and leaving them dented in the gutter. Whisked into dreams of years to fall, watching and waiting for Jack Frost to call, from fall to winter.
Are those from your book?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you introduce your book?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is from Aftermoon, my first book. The other poem was from Black and Blue.
All right. There you
go. And then, speaking of falling, this is not so much about fall, the season, but about fall, or it's entitled I Fell. I fell in and out of love, but no pain remained. And when I saw him again, I didn't see him the same. His eyes were on the floor. His smile was strained. He wasn't in color anymore. He stood there, clear and faded like a worn-out negative, so thin, transparent, and slight, that when he stood in the light, I could see right through him.
Oh, yeah. That is Mr. Great Pond. I'm going to give him the moniker The Voice. I'll call him The Voice. The Voice. All right. And speaking of that, we have the Honorable Al Robbins coming up next. Would he kindly come forward and please recognize his talent and magnificence for what he is, it is. Okay, hold on. Let me focus you in there, dear.
Are you doing special effects again?
Only in my own mind.
Well, anything that can give it glamour is legitimate. This is The Naming of Parts by James Reed. I think better Google it. Today we have naming of parts. Yesterday we had daily cleaning, and tomorrow we shall have to do what to do after firing. But today we have naming of parts. Japonica glistens like coral in all of the neighboring gardens, and today we have naming of parts. This is the lower sling swivel, and this is the upper sling swivel, whose use you will learn when you are given your slings. And this is the piling swivel, which in your case you have not got. All the branches hold in the gardens their silent, eloquent gestures, which in our case we have not got. This is the safety catch, which is always released with an easy flick of the thumb. And please do not let me see anyone using his finger. You can do it quite easily if you have any strength in your thumb. The almond blossoms are silent and motionless, never letting anyone see any of them using their finger. And this, you can see, is the bolt. The purpose of this is to open the breech, as you see. We can slide it quite rapidly, backwards and forwards. We call it easing the spring. And rapidly, backwards and forwards, the early bees are assaulting and fumbling the flowers. They call it easing the spring. They call it easing the spring. It is perfectly easy if you have any strength in your thumb, like the bolt and the breech and the cocking piece and the point of balance, which in our case we have not got. And the almond blossoms silent in all of the gardens, and the bees going backwards and forwards. For today we have naming of parts.
I think I filled it out right before the testing it. Wow. Carol Robbins. And that I remember from such a long time.
Already written there.
Oh, you did?
You did.
Oh no, I just wanted to make sure I had it right. I had it right?
Well, I'm not sure you
Did you have it right? We're not sure you have it right.
Which we have not got.
We're not sure you have it.
I know, we haven't got. All right, thank you, Hal, again. And now
John got it.
the forceful and magnificent
Oh.
Garrett Murphy is coming up here now. Give him a nice round of applause, please, because we are honored to have him, really and truly. Then we have Eddie, Chris, and Alan, and then Drift, should he please us to do so, or us.
We love you, Garrett.
Yes. There we go. Let me make sure I got him framed in his clearness. There you go.
I managed to dig a couple of things related to our theme
Thank you.
once. Macho man up. John F. Kerry, armchair general, of course, in his own mind, Kerry wanted to be a macho man, so he behaves true to form like most of his ilk, admonishes Edward Snowden to do today what he, mighty Kerry, couldn't quite bring himself to do in 2004. Man up, he barks as if he knew the slightest thing about manhood. Kerry wanted to be a macho. Delusionary ideas about manhood aside, he must be trying with the usual desperation to appease the other bogus real men. You know, the hot air pundits and parody of foxes salivating wet dreams about meeting Snowden at the airport when he lands on U.S. soil to face the music of rifles and machine gun fire, tenderizing this most heinous traitor into a modern-day Ninoy, as though we were a cartoon hood Rocky Man on violin. Macho man. Kerry wanted so bad to be a macho. The military's past due counts. At long last, and long overdue, the military has come to its senses and women can serve in combat. But of course, women have been in combat all along with the bruises and traumas and the casualties to prove it. They've just made official West Venture all along, so now they'll get some rights to go with all the responsibilities. But what would truly balance things, though that may be far longer past due, is the abolition of the requirement for men to sign up on a list of selective service. I think I finally managed to hone this one to a finished product. Calling not at the ballot. There is no joy in progress today. See, voters have been played for chumps by a Trump. And yes, a movement can still continue, though mighty Colin went and fumbled the ball.
Yeah. Garrett Murphy for you. Powerful and to the point. No playing around. All right. Eddie, are you ready? Is Eddie here? Eddie? Did he go? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought he was here a while back. I asked him. He said he would. All right, Chris. You are now Chris. Chris Birch is coming up. We got Alan Harris for the mini, and Birch will be drilling. So we just go there.
I came so prepared today.
Did you?
No, not at all.
Well, if it's any consolation to you, I came prepared.
I'm glad I could tell during the main section of the program today.
Yeah, all right. I was kind of ready.
Well, he was prepared. But
He was.
just shake the bait.
Yes, all right.
Veterans, huh? I don't have any
Well,
about veterans.
you don't. It's just a suggestion. If you have
I
something,
have a
fine.
story about my own
If you
little...
live here, my brother, you're a veteran.
Oh, yeah? That's great. Thank
It just
you.
works out that way.
Well, maybe I can do some free spoken word. I'm just kind of thought about it in my head for context when I got called into service. So maybe that helps. Mandatory service in Germany, that is. I was 22, came home after being in America for 4 years. And the first thing I saw on the desk at home was a letter from the Armed Services Committee to call me in for examination of service. Little did I know at the time what that all entailed, being in the military for 12 months, but already having a degree now from the US, being excited to start my professional life, and not knowing if I have to serve in the military. So I went to the exam, had an x-ray in my hand from an injury I had, saying, hey, I got injured, and they asked me, what's the injury about? And I told them a little white lie story about how I fell down a mountain and injured my shoulder and I can barely lift more than 10 pounds, and they kind of took it. Now, many years later, I kind of regret not doing the service, even though I had already a job and was ready to go. I didn't get the job when I was 22 because the economic crisis happened, 2008. They froze my job. I left the U.S. for nothing, and there I was unemployed, declining my service, which would have provided food. And so I was tumbling around for 6 months until I found a job finally, and moved to Switzerland, and ended up there for many years. Looking back at it, I know a lot of people who have been in the military, and I kind of wish I would have done it just because, to know what it's like, because I feel like everybody talks about that a lot, knowing what it's like, and nobody really does. So that's just my 5 cents. So that's my little veteran story.
And you have a poem now, right?
Well, I did camp prepared for that.
Okay, there you go. We're happy with that. Just so you know, the themes are advisory. If you have something, fine. If not, it's okay. But
Yeah. So despite of recent events, I thought I'd keep it a little lighter this time around. You know, last week was Trump all over. So got a little love in me today. So you watch out. The woman in the room. I saw her standing in the room. She was glooming like a fresh sunset on a cold summer night. Her radiance made my skin blush, and the rays of sunshine she emitted filled the room and made everything seem dim. She was so bright that I thought I might get burned if I come too close, but then the moon started to rise, and her glow was the only thing left on my skin. So I talked to the heavens as I stepped outside to see the moon. She was right there in between those stars. I felt like I could touch her. She kindled the flame in me, which still shines bright on the inside, and I was cherished for a long time to come. I never understand the chemistry of the glow unfolding, but all it started with a woman in that room. That's it. following the theme, we need more love in the world, right? So, distance so small. When you like someone, distance can seem quite small. It's not the distance traveled, but the time spent together what counts. Time with one another can create memories, so beautiful that they're frozen in time for the rest of your life. When you realize the value of your own memories you create, you will appreciate them so much more. Like talking to someone all night and feeling a band, invisible to the eyes, forming in front of you. A connection forming and seeing the pain in someone's eyes and yet feeling the same pain without being there. But somehow making it okay because you grabbed the hand of the other and it just vanished for a moment. Those are the kind of memories you don't want to let go. The kind where you walk down the street late at night and the moon is so bright it's guarding you that it's almost outshining the presence of the beauty you're with. The tingle in your fingertips when you touch the other person is the kind which makes life worth living wide open. Appreciating the little things like laughter about nothing, but yet knowing it means everything. A laugh can say so much more than 1,000 words written in a poem or any book. The act of walking down a park, which is just giving a constant when you see it, and stability which holds a bond within your life. Life can be a cruel mistress and toy with your emotions, but it also can be your biggest advisory. Could you possibly feel more alive, happy, content, and yet at peace when you touch the lips of a woman you adore? When the memory of an embrace is what gives you more strength than you know you had in you for a long time. A bond which is so strong that everything else would be crushed by it. That is worth a memory to freeze in time. It's not the distance traveled, but the memories created together what counts.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. The memories. Thank you, Chris. All right, and now our mini feature of the evening, Mr. Alan Harris. He's coming forward to give us a round. Give him a nice round as he comes up here. And we'll take care of beef snaz in one way or another.
Oncology calling Mr. Harris.
Dr. Klein, Dr. Harris, Dr. Klein?
Yes.
Sorry. Oh, hold on, Mr. Harris. I want to frame you, my dear. Look at that beautiful visage there.
Well, the election is over, and the people have spoken. The citizens of our great nation, or should I say our once great nation, have, in the grand tradition of our flourishing democracy, or should I say our once flourishing democracy, made their voices heard. And while, like many of you, I have concerns about the election to the highest office in the land of a racist, misogynistic, unstable, pathologically narcissistic sociopath, I am the eternal optimist, trying as always to look on the bright side, to find the silver lining in this racist, misogynistic, unstable, pathologically narcissistic, and sociopathic cloud. The gold nuggets in this racist, misogynistic, pathologically narcissistic, and sociopathic stream bed, while at the same time trying to resist the temptation to completely detach myself from reality and spend the next 4 years dropping acid and watching reruns of I Dream of Jeannie. And while it is entirely possible that the man who is about to become the 45th President of the United States of America has, at some point in his life, tried to grab Barbara Eden's pussy, there is a bright side. What is this bright side, some of you may be asking?
What is this bright side?
While others may be asking, what the fuck is this bright side?
Yeah, what the fuck is this bright side?
It is simply this. We are all witnesses to, participants in, and victims of an historic moment in time. The moment when our country took a giant step backwards in an attempt to eradicate the progress and extinguish the enlightenment which it had worked so hard to achieve. The moment when the straight, white, pseudo-Christian male viciously reasserted himself. The moment when too many of our fellow citizens said, "Fuck off and die," to the citizens of other countries. And while this is, on the one hand, horrific, isn't it exciting to be alive at such a significant moment in our country's history?
Well,
I mean, imagine if you'd been alive during the Civil War. Granted, you would now be over 150 years old, have really bad arthritis and really irregular bowel movements, and smell terrible. But you sure would have some really great stories to tell. So, be excited about being a witness to such history in our own time. And don't take for granted the instability of the man who is about to become the most powerful person in the world. We are one unhinged tweet away from total annihilation. The end is nigh, the apocalypse is now, and there is a wonderful, if somewhat sick, freedom in that. Indulge yourself. Start smoking again. Eat fried foods. Cheat on your spouse. Tell your boss to fuck off. Kill your landlord. Set free all of the animals in the zoos. It's all going to be over soon anyway. Like the man himself said. What the hell do you got to lose?
Oh, not yet, eh?
And you thought there wasn't a bright side.
That is the good news. Hallelujah, brothers.
This is as close to I come to something related to veterans. Let's just stop and take a breath and sell our weapons and buy some weed and get high and put on some Bob Marley and listen to the words and eat some vegetables and hang out with kittens and pretend to be European for an hour a day and pretend to be flaky folk singing hippies for an hour a day and remind ourselves that everyone is a freak to someone and allow a wind chime to gain access to the Pentagon and elect a rainforest president and take away Congress's tip jar and help the Constitution to fall in love with itself all over again and indulge in some serious blame and keep libraries open 24 hours a day and think really extra special hard about who our enemies are and stop listening to cannibal-friendly rhetoric and stop tolerating limousine patriotism and stop trying to arm our pacifists and stop using God as a bouncer and stop dancing in the graveyard of empires. In fact, let's just stop having empires.
Oh!
I'm a little man, a small, insignificant, microscopic, minuscule, granular speck of a man. I'm the beard stubble on a hologram. I'm a dead guy's imaginary friend. I'm steam that has phoned it in. I'm the waste product of a fictional character from a novel that no one has ever read. I'm a nowhere man. I'm less than zero. I'm nothing. I get my protein from dead celebrities. I wander through minefields looking for an ice machine. I sit at the back of the bus with skateboard gypsies while ordained chain-smoking cellular carnivores hover above us, asking God to bless the closed-circuit mobility which each night escorts us back to our pastel poverty, where empty swimming pools try to steal our souls, and adolescent billboards spin around in circles while throwing their acid flashback coloring books at each other and scaring my frail spinster of a television set whose anxiety disorder manifests itself in electronic pulses which blurt out images of robots who go to the gym and who could stand in the middle of the apocalypse and not get their hair mussed, and who have air conditioners where their souls should be, and who together are locked into a synchronized sterility as they push an agenda of synthetic snooze alarm carnality, and who are living proof that if you smirk too much, your face will just stay like that. They never blink as they tell of buildings that are frightened, and of grains of sand that whisper prayers, and of the shifting perspectives of an hysterical ant farm in which sirens are redundant. They make me afraid to leave my apartment for fear of tripping over the stealth penises and evangelical carbohydrates of the celestial wholesaler. So I push through flashes of backlit reality, searching for punctual poets who will give me 5 minutes, but all I find are politicians who smell like Mel Gibson and remind me that America is on its 8th sequel. Instead of weapons, they bust out guitars and launch into a food chain instrumental. Well, everywhere I go, television reminds me that the only ones who matter are the edited and the shaped and the hyped, who revel in LA freeway suicide ecstasy and bark at liberal semen and use world leaders to pick their teeth, while I am just a consumer whose raw footage existence is of no importance because it's trumped by mutant Bible study partisans who just want to blow shit up. So I get in my car and I drive north out of town at 110 per, leaving behind the patriotic bath towels and the Orwellian stand-up comedy and the perpetually winking punk rock and the kindergarten revisionists and the stuttering peace signs and the questions that breathe like rabbits and the rabid, thuggish mental patients with book deals, and the armies of effervescent, genetically modified voters, and the sad, and the scared, and the beaten, and the bloodied, and the dead. I weave back and forth and in and out from lane to lane, still trying to cross the line between personal rage and public outrage, as the occasional curious helicopter reminds me that the only real power is in privacy. Eventually I reach the desert where the only sign of life is a motel which greets me with a bed and a bath and a radio that only plays songs from the past. I lay down and close my eyes, trying to think of ways to save the other planet Earth, but I can't because my head hurts. And all I want to do is fall asleep, curled up next to someone who agrees with me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. Soon to be published. Soon to be published. I swear to God. I'll just say it. Thank you. Drift?
Say one more time.
Do you want to go up?
Say his name one more time.
Huh?
Say his name one more time.
Alan Harris.
All right.
Alan Harris. Do you want to drift? Just in case I didn't know you wanted to, so I just make sure that you have a chance and opportunity. So he's our clincher, closer, super duper bulldozer, and then we'll take care of these cards. Would you kindly shuffle this while we're getting ready? And shameless promotion. I have my books here in case people are interested. They're not really copies for sale. You have to write down and have to order them because these are the only 3 that I have left. I was overly generous with. Why do I even bother sometimes? That's what I say.
Oh, why?
I know. Okay.
Hello, City Grounds. That poet, people who know me know I'm supposed to be wearing my glasses. I've been wearing my glasses lately because I'm too cheap to buy new glasses.
You need regular glasses? Actually, you can use my glasses.
No, you can actually see relative to me. I had glasses when I was like 8 years old, so thick. And people would, tease me about that, and I never get into a fight over it. But when John Ray attacked my little brother, I got a fight over that. The glasses come flying off, and I actually won. And he was the bully of the neighborhood. So it's not really that big of a deal. But anyway, my poem isn't that long. I don't have similar feelings about Donald Trump personally until I listen to what everybody else is saying, who to me is more politically relative. So I jotted a few things down about it, but it's just a part of the poem, kind of. I just got done playing Abbey Tavern like a couple of weeks ago. I've really been putting more time and energy into music, so hopefully my poem won't damper the affair. 70% of the popular vote went to Hillary Clinton. Wall Street sides with Trump. Hollywood sides with Clinton. Buckingham Palace isn't scared of Trump. In truth, well, once we're here, this is where we are. We can't find selling. World trade put. Trump's probably going to get shot. Because they aren't really going to give it $80 million, quite honestly. What is it inside the mafia? Either way, Trump will be running San Quentin. Mitchell's got him. We have this game in space that he can't tell me about. We were drinking beer in a dorm room yesterday. Now he's quite honestly deciding among astronauts, having been an astronaut. You can't call him an astronaut anymore. To see Scott Mitchell walking down through Castro, having transcended astronaut, psychic expression to cell phone, and although history is wrong about Trump, or excuse me, although history is wrong about him, he did write the deal ought of. Trance to the Sun, written by atrocious virgin. See, I'll show you in what in truth of such. But that kind of straight in. Selling? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Rick.
Brady Fred.
All right. And now we're going to take care of these fabulous prizes. We have 4 copies of poetry. We choose the next week's theme, the last word, which we just heard, mini feature, and the keynote. And let me take care of that right now. So a drum roll, minor drum roll, please. An A minor, B flat, C sharp. Minor. Garrett Murphy, you're the first winner of the evening. Kindly come forward, please. Any one of these fine prizes, or these poetry magazines, or one of these cards, whichever you feel you would like.
Oh, you did good.
So these 4, or if you're going to come back next, or you can pick the theme if you want to do that.
The legacy had just been businesses that were around for a long time, but they didn't have as much of the community in it.
I read some of there's a couple that I'd like to hear just in case. I haven't read the other 3. Usually there's a few in good ones.
He had legacy status, so why not him? He's got 5 groups coming here. These are entrepreneurs.
All right.